Hey everyone! In today's episode, we're going to learn how to use the Corona Pivot Placer, which is part of the Corona Power Tools. To start, I have created a simple bots in the scene. Select the bots. Then, we need to activate the Pivot Placer tool from the Corona toolbar. Once the dialog is open, the first thing we're going to do is click Start Preview. This is really important as it allows you to see the pivot gizmo move live in the viewport as we adjust the settings. The main parameter is mode. This controls how the tool calculates the new pivot position. By default is bounding bots, which uses the object's overall dimensions. The other option, point selection, uses vertex data, which we will see later. I recommend starting with bounding bots for most common objects like doors, windows, or furniture. Below these, you have the axis placement controls for X, Y, and Z. Let's look at these options: minimum, maximum, and center. This directly places the pivot relative to the object's bounding bots. If we set the X axis to minimum, the pivot jumps to the lowest X coordinate. If we set the Z axis to maximum, it jumps to the highest point of the bots. For the Y axis, let's set it to center. You can see the pivot is now perfectly at the top center left of the object. There is also a no change option. I recommend using this if you only want to adjust one or two axes, but want to keep the original pivot coordinate for the third one. The next option is offset. This section gives you fine-tuning control after you set the main bounding bots placement. You can enter specific coordinates values here. For example, even if we set the Z axis to maximum, I can type -10 in the Z offset field to move the pivot down just slightly from the top edge. Now, let's look at the other main mode. First, there is a preparation requirement. This mode only works on geometry with accessible vertices. I recommend you convert your bots to an editable poly. If you have scaled the object non-uniformly, converting to editable poly may cause issues. If that happens, I recommend you use Reset Edge Form on the object before you convert it. Okay, with the editable poly selected, change the mode from bounding bots to point selection. Go to the modifier stack and enter Vertex Sub-Object Mode. Now, select one or more vertex on your object. You can see the pivot preview instantly jumps to the exact center of your current vertex selection. This is super powerful for custom-shaped objects or placing a pivot on a specific corner. Once you're happy with the pivot position in the live preview, click Apply. This finalizes the changes and bakes the new pivot into the object. If you get lost or want to start over, just click Reset Options. This will restore all the tool settings back to the default values. With the Pivot Placer, you can fit your pivots in seconds. It's a small tool that saves you a lot of time, especially before scattering, exporting, or setting up scenes. If you found this tutorial helpful, consider supporting my work on Ko-fi/Archviz Explain. It helps me create more tutorials like this one. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to click the like and subscribe button. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below, and thank you for watching.